As Donald Trump continues to pour billions of dollars into the deeply unpopular invasion of Iran, Virginia Foxx has decided that the best way to counter pushback is to explain that the super rich paid for a bigger slice of the bombs than the average taxpayer. Well, that's a relief.
I will point out to my colleague that, yes, gas jumped in the last month, but it's still a lot less expensive than it was under President Biden. Thankfully, under President Trump, gas prices were cut almost in half. I really get irritated when people stand up on this floor and tell half-truths to the American people. One of our colleagues just talked about the fact that wealthy people pay small percentages of their income on taxes. But what he didn't say is they pay over 50% of all the taxes paid in this country, and that working class people don't pay nearly as much as they do. So don't buy the empty rhetoric of congressional Democrats.
I heard the gentlelady's 1-minute speech before we got into this debate, in which she kind of defended the tax cuts for the rich and basically said we have a spending problem in this country. Okay, we have a spending problem. We're spending $1 billion a day on a reckless, illegal war in Iran, and nobody on the other side seems to give a damn about that. We don't have money to help make sure that we can lower energy costs for senior citizens. We don't have money to make sure our kids get nutritious breakfasts and lunches in schools. We don't have money for anything, child care, elder care, for our veterans, for our health care in general. We're told we don't have the money. But no debate, no concern about $1 billion a day on Iran. Come on. I mean, enough is enough. The focus of Congress, the focus of government should be about helping people, not screwing them over, not hurting them.
I've been in California for 30 years. It was painful to leave. I had no problem paying one of the highest taxes in the country. I think it's 13.3%. But this is different. This is not a tax. This is an asset seizure. This is saying that we're going to take 5% of everything you own, whether you're paid up on your taxes or not, whether your assets are realized or unrealized. Never been anything like this before in American history. People are trying to minimize it by saying it's a one-time. It's not a one-time.
That truly is something different. It's that is different in the last 250 years.
It's different. It's not a one-time. It's a first time. And if they get away with it, there'll be a second time and a third time. And this will be the beginning of something very new and different in this country, which is asset seizures. Whenever a state or a majority decides, hey, we don't like somebody or we don't like a group of people, we're just going to take their stuff. That's a violation of property rights.
Do you think it's going to pass, and do you think that the Supreme Court ultimately would uphold it?
Well, I think there's a good chance of it getting on the ballot, and then from there, I think it's probably there is a good chance of it passing. I can't say for sure.
Some of the polling that they just released showed 48% in favor, 36% opposed, and the rest.
Newsom doesn't sign it, though, does he? Or would they would override it, or is that?
Newsom cannot override it. He said he's opposed to it, but his ability to affect it is very limited because it's a ballot initiative. Now, will the Supreme Court ultimately find it unconstitutional?
And it's
good chance of that, but that's years and years and years from now. So, the damage is already being done right now in the state.
Are you surprised that people like Jensen and others have said we're staying in the state? Sam Altman saying he's staying in the state?
No, because they've got large companies in the state, and California's network effect is powerful, and that's why progressives think they can get away with this. But for a lot of other people whose businesses or situations are more flexible, they're leaving.
And I think what it is, it specifically targets this, about 100 people, I think it is, who are threatening to leave California, except for Jensen Huang, who's apparently staying. I have of two minds of this. One is you made and I said it to one this weekend. I said, you made all your money in California, you ungrateful piece of you could figure out a way to pay more taxes, and we deserve the taxes from you, given you made your wealth here. The second thing is, yes, there are different ways to do this, but the length of time it would take and the kind of vehemence you would fight whatever happens means nothing would happen. So why don't we just do shock and awe at this point? Because you don't seem to be, availing yourself to thinking that you owe your state something more. Which they don't think that at all.
I built a program that provided tens of thousands of pairs of glasses for free. And one of the things people ask is, how are you going to pay for that? Well, I kind of thinking in a moment of deep inequality, maybe we should have a billionaire tax. Maybe if you make $100 million, you could pay a little bit more so that the kids in your community have glasses, so that the infrastructure in community actually works. Those are all concrete things that we could do if we chose to do them, but not under a system that allows corporations and billionaires to buy off politicians to do their bidding.
We're in a depressing situation where a federal wealth tax may honestly do more harm than good. It feels like this administration exclusively spends money on the most harmful, hateful, and lethal things imaginable. But on a state level, it's never been more important to find funding for all of the safety net programs that have been slashed by the Trump administration. California is expected to vote on a 2026 Billionaire Tax Act on the November ballot, which would impose a potential one-time 5% excise tax on the net worth of any individual with over $1 billion in assets. It targets roughly 200 of the state's wealthiest residents to then fund healthcare, applying to any global assets but excluding directly held real estate. While the wealth tax is a wonderful idea, a one-time hit simply isn't enough. Despite Virginia Foxx's best attempts to persuade us otherwise, billionaires in the US do in fact often pay a lower tax rate than teachers or nurses, thanks to a tax code that favors income from wealth over income from actual work. Now, of course, if you make more money, a smaller tax rate may still mean that you technically pay more tax, but it's a smaller percentage of your income. The idea of this one-time wealth tax is to minimize billionaires' ability to hide their true wealth and assets, as well as other tax avoidance schemes. But what we need is a tax code that is responsive to the ways that the ultra-wealthy avoid paying their fair share and have for a long time. Here's hoping that the Billionaire Tax Act passes in November and represents a crucial first step, even if just a first step, to effectively taxing the ultra-rich.